and in this video I'm going to create the most powerful mob farm that exists in Minecraft. There's slice portals, light suppressors, update suppressors, an automatic bedrock breaking machine, and bats. Lots and lots of bats. And all of this together will create the end of light mob farm, getting me hundreds of thousands of drops extremely fast. The next project that I need to do is finish this perimeter, since doing that will be key in building an end of light farm. They've all been set off and so far they are all working correctly. So all I need to do is keep removing any water and also lava. Not sure why, but for some reason this one's decided to stop. I'm not entirely sure what went wrong there, but I think I've fixed it. Everything seems to just like not have moved across properly, but yeah, it's working again. I'd better get back to removing water and collecting up diamonds if I ever see them. Looks like I finally found my first big bit of lava, but it's still way easier to deal with these compared to the pre-1.18 lava lakes. Look at this, I've finally reached some of the bedrock. But there is still plenty of lava to be gotten rid of. So much so that I'm going to temporarily stop the machines, then I can properly clear everything out. And by the looks of things, I have got rid of all of the water and all of the lava. Let's set these machines back off and continue blowing up the massive perimeter. Well, that was, then maybe I shouldn't have gone for those diamonds. And look at this, it is more or less done. Just these last few bits that are getting blown up. And look at this, the perimeter is now complete. It also seems that my machine has got stuck on a bit of stone. Suppose it was bound to happen eventually. Oh, you know what, this is all going wrong now, isn't it? Yeah, you know what, I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to be breaking it anyway. And for these other ones, I'm going to disable them using redstone blocks. Tidy up these edges by removing all the lava. Absolutely magnificent. And the next phase is to now break loads of bedrock. And I could do that manually by using pistons and TNT and stuff like that, but that would honestly take me like years and years, probably the rest of my life if I was to break all the bedrock in there. So instead, we're going to build a bedrock breaking machine. Now, in order to build this machine, I'm going to need a load of pistons. And no, that's not going to be enough. Instead, I'll have to craft a load more, which means heading to the stone generator and mining loads of it up. All of this should be enough, so let's craft more pistons. An entire shulker box should probably be enough. Also need loads of stone slabs, so I've got all the stone in there ready. And also observers, slime blocks, and a bunch of other items which I have right here. Every time I see it, I just think it looks so good. And it'll look even better when I break all of this bedrock. So right here is roughly the center of this area. I may have to do a little bit of mining on these walls to make it a bit smoother. You can see these bits sticking out at the bottom will probably have mob spawning on them, but I can worry about that a little bit later. And right here is exactly where I'm going to build the machine. Thankfully, it's not too complicated of a machine, and once you see it in action, you'll think that it looks so cool. These pistons are where the bedrock breaking is going to happen and move around. Now let's build the area that kind of, well, basically where all the magic happens. There we are, this side is complete. Took a little bit longer than I expected it to. Now to add all of the redstone on this side, and thankfully it's not quite as complex as that one. This side is also finished. It was also a bit of a nightmare, and all that's left me to do now is add loads and loads of pistons with loads and loads of slabs on top. And whilst I still will need to add a lot more pistons and a lot more slabs, I can actually add in those as the machine is running. I think we test this out. So to start it, I just open up this gate here, and as you can see, everything begins moving. And this TNT is blowing up, and as you can see, it is breaking the heads of the pistons. So you get something that looks like this. Very strange on both sides. And you can see the pistons from up here will be placed along here, which is why we need so many of them. So that's what the TNT is kind of doing. And pistons are also getting broken. So yeah, you can see this middle layer has actually broken the bedrock already. So I'm going to try and pick up as many of these pistons as I can. And that's how I'll make sure I don't run out of pistons. Now I wait for the machine to go back along there. And it's placing all of these slabs along as well, which I believe it has taken from that roof. And now more TNT is falling and more bedrock is being broken. And before I let the machine go any further, I'm just going to flick this gate, which will turn it off. As you can see, we have 2 strips of broken bedrock. So now that the machine is set up, it is pretty self-sustaining. It'll just, you know, keep running as long as I make sure I have all of the pistons placed. And of course, the slabs above that. Then it will keep running without any issues. So I'm going to get rid of a massive area of bedrock all along here and show you the finished product. Well, the rain is pouring, but as you can see, the top layer of bedrock has been completely removed all the way over here. But then I accidentally broke the machine because I forgot to place the stone, and then I placed it too late, and it just completely, everything does not work anymore. But I'm more or less at the end, so I'm just going to remove these bits of bedrock manually, and also manually mine up this machine. It's also great being so far down, because phantoms don't spawn down here, so this is really good. The rain's now stopped as well. You know what, guys? These videos, they take so long to make, and you've probably not seen many people that build a machine that actually breaks bedrock. But trust me guys, we are only just getting started. Is every single block broken? Now to collect up all of these pistons, fly back home, and I can grab all the materials that I need to manually break the bedrock. Everything I need is right here, so it's time to begin breaking. That's the first one done. As you can see, the bedrock underneath's gone. It's technically slower than using a machine, but it's going to be way quicker than rebuilding another one. This floor here is also going to be obsidian, so I might as well start placing it. As much as I'd love to break these layers below of bedrock, I just have to take out so much around the edge as well to do that, and it'd take me about 20 hours to properly remove all the layers of bedrock. And since I've only got like 33 hours per video, I'm only going to remove this top layer. And for those of you that think that they changed it so that spawning is equal no matter what height in the world you're at, they actually reverted that change before the full release of 1.18. And that is every single piece of obsidian down. So let's get rid of these extra bits of bedrock. And that is all of the bedrock. Okay, well maybe not, that didn't work. Time for take two. And now all of the bedrock has been removed. Although this obsidian does need to be one longer on the east side, so I'm going to break this strip of bedrock as well. It should be a pretty quick process. This extra layer is now also done, and the platform can also be a little bit longer in this direction because the bedrock breaker was a bit wider than just 3 chunks. And as much as I'd like to get rid of these extra bits of bedrock, I'm more or less out of TNT, and my armor is not looking too good. Can repair everything at the gold farm, then mine a load of sand, grab a load of gunpowder to craft TNT so that I can break the rest of this bedrock. And that is all of them gone. Now to fly home again, grab more sand on the way, then it can all be smelted, the glass dyed various colours, and then placed around the outside to fill in the gaps and create a nice little border. And it has to be something like glass so that mobs can't spawn on it. And that is a red border completely done. Now to add some purple around it, and it really is starting to come together. It would look a lot better if there wasn't any bedrock on this top layer, but you know what, we can't be fussy now. I've just run out of purple glass. I need like maybe 3 or 4 more pieces, but I have no purple dye left, and that's because I have no blue dye left. But very conveniently, thanks to this perimeter, I can easily find lapis, which can be turned into blue dye, and from there make purple. And that is 2 layers of the border done. The final layer is going to have black stained glass, although I'm a little bit worried that I might not have enough for this. And that is all my glass gone. I'm definitely liking the look of it, but I'm going to head back home, grab these remaining pieces of glass, and get all the ones that filtered through to this chest before I blocked the hopper. Now I should definitely have enough to finish the project. And there we have it. All of the glass that I want to have down is there, and we can get a good look at it from a nice top-down view. I think it looks cool. I think it's got a pretty cool, different look about it. And you'll see that the border is 4 wide on all the sides except for this one, but we are going to be removing this obsidian layer anyway, so I'll put red glass along there. And that next contraption will be a light update suppressor. Basically, one of these allows you to place light sources in a room and it will stay dark. And that's how we're going to be able to have loads and loads of portals, but still keep it very, very dark on those blocks so that mobs can spawn. As you can see, if I stand in the portal, the light level goes up to 11, but with a light update suppressor, we can make that 0. Although first things first, I'm going to need to build a chunk loader. Otherwise, when I'm suppressing the light, the chunks just wouldn't load. So let's get this contraption built. And oh, of course you guys have to show up. So that's my portal sorted, as well as the redstone. Now to head through and do the same on the other side. And the portals on this side is complete as well. So in theory, I should be able to put an item in here. And look at that, it just keeps going through. So the chunk loader is now working. Let's break the scaffolding. It just seems to be raining, raining and raining, never ending. Before I forget, I'd also like to build a beacon. Since this project is going to require a lot of mining of obsidian, which means having a bit of haste will be very useful indeed. And since the effects of that one don't quite reach all the way to the other side, I'm going to build another one right here. There we go, double beacon set up. And you'll notice another problem that's starting to develop. We've got bats spawning. Now, bats are going to be a real problem for this farm. So I need to create something called a bat switch at some point, but I'm not going to do that just yet. Instead, I'm going to gather up all the resources that I need for this light update suppressor. It's basically just going to be one massive lag machine. I've gathered up every single item that I need in all of these different shulker boxes. It's not a very complex build, but there is quite a lot of blocks that I need to place. I'm building it in the spawn chunk so that it'll keep running even when I'm not in the area. And it's going to be built all the way up at sky limit, since that is what will cause the most lag for the lighting engine. I've marked out the entire border of this machine, and on top of these, we're going to have powered rails, and there's going to be some strips along here as well. And now adding strips along like this, and the reason I've got different color concretes is so I can mark out where each observer is going to go. And now to add rails all the way along on top of this, and then there'll be a row of observers attached like this to all of the rails so that it'll activate a load of pistons whenever these light up. Now to build a row of these on this side. Now we're going to add all of the stone, and this is what's going to be moved back and forth to create the light updates. I've marked out the edge. Now I've just got to fill in the middle. That's all the stone placed down. I can add all the observers by doing this, and then all of the pistons like this. Now to add a few more redstone components. Yeah, so I just added a redstone here, and it's set everything off, which was not part of the plan. Okay, but that stopped it again. Okay, that's good. Turns out the reason for the issue was that there needs to be a redstone block here before I place the redstone. And that is all the redstone for this section done. Now to add more rails, and now to repeat the exact same thing 3 more times. With these 3 pistons, it is complete. Well, it's almost complete, but I somehow ran out of stone, so I'm just going to go and grab a bit more. And thanks to haste, this is something that I can do very, very quickly. Now to finish it off, before I test it out, I want to head back to my house, grab a load of ladders, and build a way for me to easily get up and down, just in case for some reason I can't use my elytra because of all the lag. Now when I flick this note block, okay, something should have happened. I'm going to try placing a redstone block instead, see if that works. Okay, something moved. Yeah, that must be the way it works. You have to bud all the rails. So if I go ahead and... Okay, I can't place it there, but if I place it here, you'll see that all these rails will stay on, if that makes sense. Okay, it's starting to work now. Just need to bud these rails along here as well. And as you can see, this is causing quite a bit of lag. Now, if I do that, yes, they have all stopped. And if I go again... everything should be moving. Okay, I mean, it's kind of working, but not perfectly. The main problem is the position of these observers. You can see if I remove that, it stops, and then they just need to go on this piston here. All observers should be fixed. In theory, we should now have a working lag machine. I'm going to leave it to run for about 2 or 3 minutes. Enough time has passed. Let's just go ahead and press it again to stop it. And now the light queue is going to be pretty full, which means I can do some pretty random things. I'm going to place a torch here and a torch here. And now if I close my game, I've done it using Task Manager. And now as you can see, we've got a dark room with torches, and they're just not properly lighting up the room. And you can see from the F3 menu at client light, it's 0 light level everywhere in here. So mobs could spawn in here, no problem. And that is how we are going to build the end of light farm. The next thing I'm going to build is a sliced portal in the Nether. That means that mobs will just fall straight out of the portal, and it also looks way cooler as well. And to do this, we're going to need an update suppressor, and for that, we're going to need loads and loads of powered rails. I'm talking like 2,000 of them, which is about 30 stacks. All we have at the moment is 3 stacks, so I better go into my nice old gold reserves. Everything I need is right here. Let's begin crafting. Turns out it's not actually as resource heavy as I first thought. I've nearly got all of it that I need, and I didn't even have to use up all of my gold. I'm also going to use sandstone as the building block, since I can get a lot of that very, very quickly. That is everything that I need. And now I need a ridiculous amount of hay bales. They'll be used to make target blocks, but I'm going to need like 230 of them, which, you know, I could grow the wheat myself or something like that. But that just sounds like a waste of time and energy. Instead, I'm going to grab my trusty hoe and set off flying in search of new villages. And from there, I can steal all of their hay bales. Shouldn't take me long to get the 232 ones that I need. Look at that. There's literally a village right next door to the one I was just at, with more hay bales to steal. Already, I'm nearly up to 2 stacks. Sorry about this, Mr. Farmer. I can steal more from these pillagers by taking the bodies. I didn't expect to be doing this when I set off on the journey. And whilst I'm here, you poor golems, be free. Your days of being trapped behind bars are no more. And I've actually got all the hay bales I need now. So I'll fly back home. I can do that by using a portal. And then to craft the target blocks. Well, what's that you say? I don't quite have enough. Well, don't worry, I have a stack of spare ones in this chest. I also need a non-sticky block like terracotta, so I'm going to grab all the clay and set it off smelting in here. And then since I have so much bone meal, I'll turn it into white dye to create white terracotta and set that off smelting as well. All of this should be enough for now. I can leave the rest of it smelting in the background. And before I actually do any building, I'm going to fly up to the pigman farm and repair my elytra since they're a little bit worse for wear. Everything's fully repaired, so I'll activate the nether mob switch. Right here is where I'm going to have the sliced portal, but to do that, I'm going to first have to create an update suppressor. And whilst I can build it over there, I'll need a little bit more room here as well, so I'm going to mine out this wall. And also remove any lava that's in the way at the same time. Because these two up here, I think I'm going to have to plug them up as well, which I hope I can do with netherrack. You know what? I've got good armor. Let's, I was going to fly into the lava, but I didn't need to. I will for this one though. There we go. And now to continue mining. Everything over here has been done, but I've still got a big area on this side to do, and there's a little ruined portal here. Nothing too useful. And whilst I'm at it, I'll need to drain this lava lake as well. But don't worry, I've got a lot of experience when it comes to draining lava lakes, so it shouldn't be too much trouble at all. And that is every bit of lava drained down to bedrock, and all of the blocks cleared out of the way as well. And now to make a bit of a floor with this glazed terracotta, and then this is going to have powered rails on top of it. I'm also going to place them in this direction as well. Made a nice little sandstone staircase going up here, and we're basically going to be using rail budding to cause update suppression, which is going to allow us to slice a portal right here. If it sounds complicated, that's because it kind of is. I'm making a big platform right here, which is just going to be full of rails. It takes a serious amount to cause update suppression, over 2,000. Now I'm finally getting to place the trusty target blocks, and then to add even more sandstone, as well as the redstone underneath. Now I'll add a row of redstone blocks, and the big task of placing all of the rails can begin. And that is every single one of them placed. It didn't actually take as long as I thought. A little note block can go right there. We're going to have another rail here. And now to add the system that will bud the powered rails. All of that is now ready to go. But now to create the system that will bud these lines along here. It's really starting to come together. But now I need to turn a corner and go in this direction. All that's left for me to do now is place redstone blocks in all of these, and this will bud the pistons and bud the rails. Actually, it doesn't bud the rails just yet, but if I go like this and then do that, now the rails are budded and the update suppressor is working. Let's grab the flint, we've got the obsidian, and if all goes to plan, I can go ahead and build a portal right here like so. Okay, this isn't... Okay, you know what? Something's not right because the rails have gone off. Let me go ahead and just redo it. Do the rails go off now? No, you can see they stay on. You can see things are moving, so that means it is... The update suppressor is definitely working. That's the way you can tell. And prepare for your minds to be blown as we break that. Look at this. Look at that. The portal... Well, it's not like a normal portal, is it? We can break another one, and then we'll break this final piece of obsidian. As you can see, we have now successfully slice the portal. I'll turn off the update suppressor, remove these blocks from behind, and there you have it. All of this work just to remove the bottom layer of a portal. But it'll definitely be worth it because any mobs that come through this portal now will just fall straight down, and I'll make a hole down there. So next, everything here needs to be removed, and thankfully, since it's all made from sandstone, it can be mined very, very fast. Well, as we said, mining up all those rails did not take long at all. Well, if you hadn't watched the video, you'd have never known that all of this was here before, and now we've just got this lonely portal. Although I do still have some big plans, as I'm now going to rebuild that entire update suppressor right here. And as it happens, the beacon's going to be in the way, so I better mine it up and then I'll be able to move it. And there is also the issue that the blocks on the ground have to be non-sticky ones, so the glass would be very problematic. Instead, there's going to be lots of glazed terracotta as the floor, which I'll change back to glass once I'm done. And I'm also going to add actual blocks for all of the rails to go on. And now to begin building the even bigger update suppressor. It's pretty much the same thing, only that rail and all the bud lines will go further, and the same in that direction. And you've already seen me build this once before, so I'll see you again when the entire machine is complete. The entire update suppressor has been built. As you can see, this one is quite a bit bigger, and it has all this extra mechanism behind it so that I can actually move the update suppressor across by touching that note block in the distance. I've got my beacon back, but I can't have any light from the beacon coming over here, so that's why it's completely being covered. And now I'm just going to make it so that there's no skylight coming down, so that this farm will work even during the day. Because even without the roof, the game will still think it's dark down there. The only issue is that this roof is absolutely massive, so it's going to take me quite a bit of time to fill it all in. Tell you what, building the roof alone has been a monster project, but I'm now very, very close to completing it. And that is mission accomplished. I think this beacon is far away enough, but I'm just going to patch it up to be extra safe. And according to the F3 menu, there's still 1 and 2 light levels and 3 even on the sky, from the sky. So I've just got to extend it a little bit further out. So I'm going to extend it by 4 on this side, and I'll also do the same thing on this side. Although I've just run out of blocks. I didn't think I was going to need this many. That's 3 shulker boxes worth. Thankfully, I don't think I'll be running out of netherrack anytime soon. Looks like all of my glass that I set off smelting has done as well. That's going to be useful for the project. And now to get back to finishing this roof. It would seem that on this side, the roof is already wide enough. But just to be safe, I'm still going to extend it by a couple of layers. And I already know that this side needs way more layers. So let's extend the beacon cover up a little. Okay, not like that though. Up a little bit. And then we can just extend the roof around it. And now mission to build a giant roof is complete. And I also want to add an extra layer of blocks in front of this beacon. Because if I was to accidentally accidentally break some of the sandstone, it would cause a lot of problems. And I do stupid stuff all the time, so yeah, that should be much safer. Feels so dark in here. Alright, well, you know what that means, guys. It means it's time to begin. Although before I can actually do the part where I slice all the portals, I plan to build the Afk platform, which will also have a bat switch. And part of that is going to be to have a flint and steel with Unbreaking 3 on it. And I will also need a water bucket, so I'll just take an empty one. And I was going to say that finding water should be pretty easy, but everything's frozen. Not to worry, I can just literally do this. Take the middle one, and that will refreeze. Now, the Afk platform is going to be right in the middle, which is here. So it's going to be built from glass to keep it spawn proof. And this portal here is going to be our bat switch. I'll make sure there's glass on top so nothing can spawn there. And on this back side, we're going to have a couple of dispensers so I can turn the portal on and off. That's why this one has a flint. And this one has a water bucket. So the one with the flint is just going to have a normal button on the side like that. But the water bucket one is going to have an observer. That way when I press the button, you'll see the water both appears and disappears because of the observer. Well, I've had a change of heart and decided to move the dispensers to this side. That way it's just a lot easier to get to the buttons. Next it's time to do some portal linking on the other side. Now the most important thing for this part will be to make the portals around it slightly higher. So because these portals are 1 block higher, any mobs and bats that spawn at the bottom of the world will go to the lowest portal, which is this one. And then some bats will fly into these portals once their cooldown is finished. And this portal here will link to in here. So yeah, I'm kind of trapped right now. Not too much of a problem. And once I get about 15 bats in here, I can go ahead and turn off the portal. And then no more bats will be able to spawn all the way down there. So all that's left me to do is make sure that every portal is linked. And then encase this entire area in a glass box. That's the walls behind the portals complete. Now to add a roof. Actually, I want the roof to be 1 lower. Otherwise the bats might get stuck in the corners. And now to encase the whole thing in a glass box so that nothing can escape. And the mobs are going to fall straight down here and there'll be a collection system at the bottom. But that's all I need to do with that for now. I'll finish it later. Instead, let's begin this project. Before I set off, I'm just going to make sure that this chunk loader is working, which it is. And before I actually start the machine, I've actually grabbed a few extra items. So you can see when I power this note block, everything starts. And then when I unpower it, it stops. So I'm going to build a really simple little hopper timer that when this hopper empties, it will then activate the redstone and turn on the machine. I just took a load of slime blocks in for now since I don't need them. So from the moment I flick this lever, oh no, I need some redstone here. I have now got 2 minutes to get to the chunks because chunks will load fine when it's not on, but when it's on, yeah, chunk loading is a bit dodgy really. Okay, I didn't mean to use a totem there. You know what? It's all in the name of speed. It's a race against the clock. I can't be messing about. Although, to be honest, 2 minutes was loads and loads of time, so I don't think I was ever in any danger of not making it. Let's get another totem whilst I wait for the thing to start. By my calculations, it should now have started. I can test it out just by flying away, and as you can see, no new chunks are loading. Look at that. we can't really, we can't go there, so we know that the light suppressor is in action. So let's start up the update suppressor and get to work. There's a lot of suppressing going on in this video, isn't there? I'm also going to use the chunk borders to make the portals the right thing. I know it's working because the things are moving when I place stuff, so we're going to light it up. And now when I mine up this obsidian, as you can see, we have sliced the portal. I can get rid of the top one as well, and I have to break this entire top row now. This is what's going to take the most time, just mining loads and loads of obsidian. And this is where my glass is going to come in on the end. In fact, on that edge, I don't need to do anything actually. But when I get rid of this portal, this obsidian block right here can instead be glass so nothing can spawn there. And as you can see, when you break a portal, you always lose this end one, which is why I have to make it one longer than I want it to be. Got a bit carried away with this third portal and made it way too long. Now let's create this third portal, slice it once again, and remove the excess obsidian. This right here is going to get changed to glass, and this end bit of obsidian in the floor is going to be red stained glass. That's layer 1 successfully complete. Let's turn off the update suppressor, and now when I use this note block, everything moves across one, and we repeat the exact same process right here. It's just so satisfying every time when you... Okay, I was going to say, when you slice the portal in half, I should turn on the update suppressor first. And I just realised why it's not working. I need to extend this. So there needs to be a block there, and then that like that. Then it's all connected. Now I can start the update suppressor. Light the portal, slice it. That's layer 2 complete. So I'll move the suppressor along again, and just rinse and repeat. I've managed to complete 8 layers, but as you can see, my game is now going very, very laggy. I think it's something to do with the massive light queue. So I'm going to enter the nether through one of these portals and see if it even works. Okay, it did work. Okay, and straight into my own trap, and yeah, you can see we're getting a lot of bats spawning as well. That's why we need a bat switch. Could the bats be causing the lag? Well, I flew away so they'd all despawn. yeah, it's not helped. So instead, I'm going to reload the game. Now then, when I reload the world, it actually takes me back here, which is probably not a good thing, so I need to go through this portal. So now I'm going to make my way out of here. Then I'm going to head to spawn, and the spawn chunks load with no problem, which is good. Then I'll remove all of the slime from here, and I need to flick this off, don't I? Put some back in, the machine stops, the lag's gone, it's beautiful. Now to flick this lever and repeat the whole process again. And thanks to the F3 menu, I can tell that this has worked and everything is light level 0. And now I can get back to work and add more layers. Well, it has been a massive grind, but I am finally on the final layer. And the constant lag is driving me absolutely crazy, but yeah, we're so close to the finish line. I've spent a good 4 or 5 hours just doing the same thing over and over again, and I'm so glad that the finishing line is now in sight. And there we have it. Every single portal is complete. The update suppressor can be turned off for the final time, and I can now move this machine a few times so that it goes out of the way. So I'll just keep going. Look at that. It's so cool when you just like actually watch it move like that. And then another time. I think it's well and truly out of the way now. I'm going to tidy up the area a little bit and get rid of this beacon now before I forget about it. I've still got a lot of things to do to make this work. And if I make one wrong move, all my progress will just be wasted. And I do not fancy having to replace every single portal again. Seems that a few neighbours spawned without me realising. And I'm guessing this was from a lightning strike. The next thing I will do is go through one of these portals and join all the oh my goodness, this is absolutely crazy. This is probably one of the reasons why it was so laggy. There's 1,400 of them here. I can't get out of here because my game's kind of in this laggy state now. I'm just going to have to quit the world. It probably won't let me quit. I'll probably have to like end it with Task Manager. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly why I created a bat switch. I definitely do not want something like that to happen again. Now we can safely fly up to the light suppressor and turn it off. It feels so nice to have smooth, normal gameplay. I haven't had this in about 5 hours. I will need it again before the farm is finished, but first I'm going to head to my pigman farm and repair all my tools, all my items, and I'm going to take a break. Well, that's enough of that. Let's dump all of these items, grab more shulker boxes, and then I can start the timer for the light suppressor to turn on. This chunk loader up here can be removed. I know the light suppressor is working because chunks will no longer load, so that means that I can safely remove this entire roof. This is definitely a much quicker process than it was to place all of these. And because I've got the light suppressor on, this will make the game think that it is still dark down there when I reload the world. And so mobs will still be able to spawn down there, even in the daytime. And that is all of that removed. Let's get rid of this where the beacon once stood. And also remove the update suppressor. Let's also remove the other beacon. All of this needs to go as well. And now to get rid of all these rails and the sandstone underneath. And finally, every single one of the rails has been removed. And the final thing to be done is to mine up all of the glazed terracotta and replace it with glass. I also almost broke my other pickaxe, so thankfully I just about did a substitution in time. The final steps of this farm have involved a lot of mining. I've removed all of the terracotta, but I'm sick of the game being so laggy, so I'm going to mine up all the shulker boxes and then head through the portal. Nice to be welcomed by a lot of bats. Oh no, not again. It is not easy to get out of there one bit. I have made it all the way to spawn, and let's turn off this machine. Okay. The frame rate, it's so much nicer. How on earth did you get up here? Have fun getting down, mate. That was really evil. I'm going to reload the world anyway now. Now everything is so much smoother, and you know what? I can't do it to you guys, actually. I'll leave you guys up here. And now to head back home, drop off some of this stuff, and then let's get this pickaxe repaired. And now let's place down all of this glass. I've also realised that I did mess up the skylight suppression somehow. So this farm will only be running at full capacity at night. And that's because that roof should be the final thing that you remove, not other stuff. But that's not to worry because I can fix it. I just have to rebuild that roof, then start light suppressing, and the problem will be fixed. However, since we're on day 3000, we don't really have time to do that, so we're going to test it out tonight when the sun goes down, because it'll just work like normal at night. And I think that is now every piece of glass placed down. Let's fly back home, offload these remaining items, and grab magma, hoppers, and a bunch of rails. And now let's sort out the chamber where the mobs are going to fall. We're going to have a layer of magma here, and then hopper minecarts would pick the items up under here. I'm going to create a much better storage system that will cope with the sheer amount of items. It's going to be like 100,000 items per hour, but I haven't really got time for that right now. The only thing I do have time for is to turn off this mob switch, and then to test out the end of light farm. And oh my goodness, you can see it happening right below your very eyes. Look at the mobs spawning in and then just and then going through. This looks so cool. And I can't actually see what's going on the other side, but I'm going to show you guys in replay mode. Just looks so mesmerizing from up here though. Yeah, I thought I'd look at the replay file as well, guys, and yeah, the sheer carnage is amazing, but this is not quite how it's meant to go. Yeah, I definitely need to work on my bat switch a little bit, but I haven't seen anyone successfully do that in a single player world. I've only seen people do it with more than one player, so I'll have to get my thinking cap on with this one. Because, I mean, bats are coming through, but there's still way too many bats through. I can put lava walls. I'll come up with something. From the F3 menu, I can see that loads of bats are coming through since their cooldown. We've already got like 40 bats in here already, and now we've got a spider. Yeah, I've definitely got to I've got to sort the farm out a little bit, but yeah, there's too many mobs for me to handle right now. The system I've got, the system through there will definitely be improved. The bats just keep coming. We've got 165, 160. Yeah, you see, no more new bats will be spawning, but because there's like 1,000 already in there, they'll just keep on coming through. But you've got to say, guys, it really is an insanely amazing farm. I mean, the idea was that when I get to 15 bats, I would just press that and then they would stop coming through, but we're at 250. I'm not meant to be able to get that many. So yeah, before any more come through, I'm going to disable that. That should hold them back. Any more bats now will probably go down there and hopefully they'll despawn after a bit. You guys just all land and make yourselves comfortable. It's time I built a system to collect the millions of drops my EOL farm gives me. Simple hoppers aren't quite fast enough for that, and chests aren't big enough. So I created a very elegant system and a much faster shulker farm so I could store everything. And now it's time to build a collection system for my end of life farm, which does unfortunately mean building another update suppressor. I was hoping that I'd be done with them by now, but it looks like I'm going to have to build one just one final time. This one's going to be a lot smaller and more compact than the last one, because this slice portal right here needs to be much higher up. Also, here's all the items I got for briefly running the EOL farm last time. Quite a lot. In fact, if I just fly on down, I don't think I can even begin to fit all of this into shulker boxes. My goodness, guys. I'm just starting to realize how crazy OP this farm is going to be. Like, I can't even, you know, fit anywhere near all this stuff into a shulker box. Almost feel sad just letting all of those items despawn. Now, before building this suppressor, I'm creating a massive platform so that when I break it all, I won't lose all my items into lava. But now I've finished that, let's grab the sandstone and start building this thing. And just like all suppressors, this one will involve placing a lot of rails. That's the first layer done. It's definitely much faster building this one than the last one, but different types of suppressors are useful for different things. This suppressor wouldn't have been useful for doing all of the slice portals in the AOL farm because it's too small, but for the sake of this little slice portal, it's pretty useful. And that is the second layer completed, the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and the eighth layer is also done, which means they're all done. Yeah, it looks pretty awesome, doesn't it? With just a little bit more redstone to be added. These rails along here is where the update suppressing will be taking place. Once I place this redstone block, everything is done. So I can grab the obsidian and the flint and steel, build a portal right here, and I can turn on the suppressor by doing that. Light up the portal because I forgot to do it. If I break this obsidian, watch what happens. It's a beautiful moment. Look at that. Nothing happens to the portal. Do the same with these obsidian blocks, and there you have it. A completely, perfectly working slice portal that's a bit higher than that one. And now I have the very fun project of just mining absolutely everything up. And that is the whole thing removed just like that. That was a lot quicker than having to build it. And now before building the next part of the collection system, I think it's a good idea for me to fly over here, head to my pigman farm, and repair all my items. And now I think it's time I fix the light levels on my EOL farm. This is going to require loads and loads of netherrack, and a lightning rod will also be very useful. Now before I do any of the light suppressing, I first need to build another giant roof at y equals -51. I should also probably go to sleep, otherwise I'm going to end up with millions of bats spawning. That just sounds like a very stressful experience. The reason that my skylight suppression didn't work before is because I accidentally built this platform a couple of blocks too high. But the person who made the EOL tutorial sensei has explained it to me, so now there'll be no more mistakes. And finally, the entire roof is finished. I don't ever want to have to do that ever again. Now to grab a bit of string, start the timer on the light suppressor, and head all the way back to the EOL farm. It's currently on a timer so that I can actually load in all of these chunks. And whilst I wait for it to kick in, I'm going to go ahead and add a lightning rod up here, because otherwise lightning could mess up the levels on this farm. You know, if someone sets on fire, it'll brighten it up, all that kind of thing. So this will just absorb all the lightning in a thunderstorm and solve that problem. Enough time has passed, I can go ahead and fly around, and as you can see, new chunks are just not loading in. That means the light suppressor is definitely working. Now to turn on chunk borders, and I'm going to add a piece of string to every chunk. That will make it so that the lighting doesn't break at a later date on the farm. Adding the string does slightly lower the rates, but it's only by a very, very tiny amount. If it means that the farm is never ever going to break, then that is worth it to me. Now to save save and quit the game, then kill Minecraft in Task Manager, then when I load it back up, the game will still think that it's dark down there, which is why things like bats are spawning. And now I just have to try and get back to spawn. Of course, you know, we are going to be overrun with bats. And I'm just going to mine my way out of here. Next, I can fly up to the suppressor at spawn and switch it off. Now, to create the drop chutes, a lot of glass will be needed, as well as hoppers, droppers, and a bunch of other redstone items. Let's also grab a shulker box, and then it can be filled with lava. First things first, let's create a bit of a border around this portal. And this area right here is what is going to deal with all of the spiders. The outside is going to have glass with gates all around here and lava in these parts. And so the spiders will get taken out by the lava and their items go into the hoppers. And now to build the exact same thing on this side. There we go, that looks perfect to me. And now to build the massive glass chute, which is what all of these mobs are going to fall down. That is now complete. And I've got a few warped fence gates, but I could probably do with quite a few more. So I'm going to fly over to this warped forest and mine up some of the trees. Then all of those can be turned into way more gates. We've got plenty now. And now to build the system that's going to deal with the excess bats. There's going to be lava like this, and then the bats will fly into it. No, the mob can. The bats will stop spawning. Don't do that, SP. I was about to say that the bats will stop spawning once you've been running the farm for about a minute. So doing this will mean you haven't got about 1,000 of them just chilling in the tube. And now I am fresh out of lava. Well, thankfully we're in a place where lava isn't that hard to find. I can very quickly restock by doing this. And now it's back to placing it all again. And that is all of the lava down. Those bats don't stand a chance. And before I can do much more, I need to get rid of all these portals and the glass down here. Goodbye, original slice portal. It was nice knowing you. Well, that is pretty much all the glass gone. I'll deal with that a lot later. Let's just get this chute brought down a bit lower. And now I need to quickly pop home, grab some pistons and iron bars. Then I'm going to head to the end, fly to an end city, and grab lots of end rods. I'll also grab a bunch of chorus fruit so that next time I need end rods, I don't have to come all this way. And now I'm going to place iron bars and also end rods along here. And in theory, all of this redstone should make it so that, yay, look at that. We've got a moving floor now. And so mobs will land on here and then they will fall through. But they will take damage and probably die before that happens. Okay, what am I doing here? I was fresh out of firework rockets, would you believe it? So yeah, the items will be able to fall through, but the mobs won't. Except for the baby slimes, which I will deal with next. Now to build the exact same thing as there on this level, the reason I use a mix of iron bars and end rods is because sometimes the items will get stuck if I only use end rods. And if I use only iron bars, as you can see, they all attach up to each other. And this one should now be working perfectly as well. And this right here is the part where pistons are going to push all of the items into the middle. This will make them much easier to deal with in the next section. And all this creates a nice little clock that pushes each piston individually like so. And any items that are just sprinkled around like this, notice how they will gradually get pushed into the middle. For this next bit, we're going to need blue ice, as well as some slime and string. And to get blue ice, I'm going to have to mine up loads of all of this ice. However, my pickaxe probably won't survive that. Also, apparently hidden under the snow here, there's shulker boxes with loads of ice in them. That's kind of cool. Might as well start crafting. And before I grab any more ice, let's get this pickaxe repaired. That's everything fixed up. Now to mine up loads of ice. Made it to the end, and this is all of the ice I've got. Time to craft it up, and it gives me a grand total of about 73 blue ice. But wait, there's more ice here, and that means I have 89 pieces. Actually, 79 I apparently can't count. For the next part, a lot of redstone components will be needed. And I think for now, I've got enough of everything that I need. Let's go and build a massive storage system. So the items are going to land on this block right here. Let's also turn this off. The noise is kind of driving me crazy. There's going to be a slime here and a sticky piston that will push the slime block. The magma's also driving me crazy, so I'm just covering it up. And from here, I would dig in this direction, but as you can see, there's lava in the way. And rather than clear out the lava, I'll just go ahead and make it so the items go in this direction. So the items will go on this blue ice and be fired over in this direction. And they're going to go about this far before dropping downwards. And if I place a few ender chests here, when the items are fired along, as you can see, because this is slightly smaller than the block, it's kind of part way on this block as well. And then hoppers along here can go into comparators, and when they get fired along this ice, these hoppers will be able to collect them. It's a pretty foolproof plan, but for the amount of items that are going to be coming through here, I'm going to need a lot of hoppers. Also, after a bit of further thought, I'm going to make this pathway right here quite a bit longer. I also get the very fun job of having to deal with lava because we're in the nether. This is the general shape of it so far. If I may go any further than this and out the chunk, then the chunk will not be loaded at all. Only a 3x3 around that portal will work. A bit of string here is going to detect when items come down and activate this piston. As you can see, it works like a charm. Then some more string here will extend this piston. So if I go ahead and test it out, okay, that went to there. And what happened here? I'm just an idiot and can't do basic redstone apparently. Time for take two. So they are going to be shot along there. And then obviously these items are going straight into this hopper. But if I fill all of these up, then they'll be shot a lot further along. And this is how the corner system is going to work. So when an item gets to that corner, as you can see, it will get pushed. Although why has it got stuck? You know, I think it's in my best interest to move everything a bit lower. That way there'll be no need to worry about items getting stuck. And on take 2, everything seems to be working as intended. The blue ice in this direction goes all the way down there. Now to turn another corner and repeat the same process again. I also think it's time that I got rid of this massive... Oh, don't do that. But yeah, there's a massive lake right here. And I think it's time I got out my scaffolding and got rid of it all. And finally, I have made it down to Bedrock. Now I can get back to building my storage system. Hard to believe that not that long ago this was full of lava. Look at that, found a bit of ancient debris whilst I'm digging everything out. Makes sense that this would happen when you're mining such a massive area. Plenty more of the area has been mined out. But before I go any further, I should definitely heal up my pickaxe. I don't want to have a breakage on my hands. And I also need to mine up lots more ice. Getting blue ice is a very expensive task. I went around this a few times and managed to get 60 blue ice from all of that. In fact, 61. Now to repair my pickaxe again and continue building this collection system. And once again, I have run out of ice. To be completely honest, I've probably got enough where there'll be enough hoppers to collect everything. But just in case, I'm going to mine up even more ice. I only got 14 blue ice from all that. So I'm thinking it may just be quicker to mine it from the bottom of these icebergs. And I can also get loads of packed ice this way as well. From that, I got so much blue ice. Yeah, that should see me through for the rest of the build. I've been adding the slime piston system to this, but then I ran out of ender chests. I could use something cheaper like normal chests, like a normal person would. But hey, I'm rich, I've got loads of obsidian, so I might as well use it. Although despite being so apparently rich, I only have 32 blaze powder, which isn't a huge amount. It's enough to make the ender chests I need to finish the build, but I should definitely take a trip to the blaze farm at some point. Now to add the hoppers, the comparators, and all of the redstone. I have now run out of comparators, and I'm nearly out of redstone, just a few blocks left. So I shall fly home, buy more redstone, which mends my pickaxe at the same time, and then I'm going to craft many more comparators and many more repeaters. And with these new materials, I can finish adding all of the redstone. It's going to be a very straightforward sorting system. You've seen me build these many times before. It'll just involve these hoppers going into chests with redstone torches right here, repeaters going into those torches, and then redstone dust on this bit. And that creates an item sorter. And the next thing I'm going to need to build under here is some shulker box loaders. But to build those, I'm going to need loads and loads of shulker shells. And now let's start building this. So we'll start with a couple of hoppers coming down. Into this hopper, there will be an observer and another one facing down. Piston right here that will have a barrel behind it. This dispenser is what is going to send out the shulker boxes. And this comparator is going to detect if they're full. Another observer is going to be there with a torch on the end, and then an observer kind of going, well, it'll be going this way. No, it'll be going this way. And if I put a shulker box on here that is almost full, just for demonstration purposes, it can be like that. And a stack of items can be filtering in. And once this box gets filled up, that does that. And you can see the shulker will go into there. And yeah, okay, I was wondering where that comparator came from. That was just from me earlier. And a new shulker box gets placed right there. So yeah, it worked perfectly. And so now I'm going to create a row of these all the way along underneath this ice. And it seems that the easiest way to do that is just to place every single thing in a row. Or at the very least, that makes it much faster to build. And that is 19 of these all in a row completed. Now to complete the redstone for the sorting system part and start creating shulker boxes. All of them just go into this barrel. And this has made me realize that I'm missing some hoppers, because there should be hoppers like that so that they can actually go into the dropper. I have now run out of shulker shells, so I've just got these 11 left. But I have still got quite a few barrels left to fill, as you can see. Everything on this straight is now fully loaded and ready to go. So now it's time to add some along here. I have realised a slight flaw to my system. I can't build a shulker loader going this way because this shulker loader's in the way. I've managed to make room for all of these. I think I might even remove these two end chests and this whole system just so that it's kind of a better corner. But that's something I'll worry about at the very end. I think it's time I got back to building shulker loaders. Although I just realised I need more droppers and dispensers. Has to be said, dispensers are one of the most annoying things to craft. They just take forever. It's all because bows don't stack, so you can only do one at a time. But that is now mission accomplished. And before I add to these, I want to change something here, because I've realised if I throw an item, notice how this extends, and sometimes mobs will land on this slime. Maybe some baby slimes will land on it, and they won't take the fall damage. So I just need to make a few adjustments to this system. This observer will go here, and the piston will push a block as normal. I have a repeater coming out of here, and then this redstone will power it anytime anything falls down. So if I just go and put a string there, as you can see, it does that, which will be pushing this block, and it's going to go over to here and land on this bit of terracotta. So I'm just moving everything here along by one, and this is where the second piston will then push the slime and push the items. We can also have a couple of repeaters here to make sure there's enough delay. And so now when some items come down, they're going to get pushed Okay, that didn't work. Been playing Minecraft for 7.5 years and I still can't do basic redstone. That's going to go there, repeater there, and I think this can just be a block at the end. This needs to also be a block that can actually be pulled by a piston, like glass, something like that. Right, now when I send some items down, there we go. You can see they're going through. You can see they get pushed off there and they get pushed along. It is working and full damage is back. And now that's finally managed, I'm going to continue building loads of these shulker box loaders. Now all of the shulker loaders are complete. So now I'm going to grab an anvil, rename Netherrack so it's called blockers, and start putting the items in for all of the different filters. That's all of them done on this row. And the reason I rename them is so that an item can't randomly fall in by mistake and mess it up. In theory, this entire storage should be unbreakable. And that is every single one of the blockers put in. Now to head back home and grab some shulker shells on the way. And now to collect all the different drops I need to create the filters. And these are all the different kinds of items the farm's going to give me and I'm going to need to filter for. Now to start putting all these items in. All along here it's going to be arrows, followed by bones, and then gunpowder and string. And this last strip is more for all the miscellaneous drops, so it's going to have the slime balls. I think I'm just going to do 16 hoppers of those. And then these mega drops as well, which will fill up very, very slowly. And then these final ones I'm going to leave empty. There's going to be things like bows that come across, so I guess I'll collect them. I don't really have any use for them. Although they could be a cool fuel source. I don't know, we'll just see, but I'm going to leave them open and see what happens with those hoppers. And I need to also remove this string because yeah, it's not going to be going any further. Everything is just going to stop right there. So it's almost ready. It's getting so close to being done. However, there are still a couple of things that need to be sorted. I'll need a system that collects all of the string from the spiders. So a couple of hoppers here will be useful. And now if we mine on in, I'm going to put a dropper there, one on this wall, and then there'll also be one on this side. And if I also make a stairs, I can put one here, and this will make the items that come out of these droppers more likely to go into the middle. But it doesn't matter if some of them do get stuck on this ledge because mobs will pick them up as they go down as well. So it's just a great little system. Out of here, I'll have a comparator going into a repeater, which is going, well, it'll go into a block. And underneath that block, there will be a redstone dust, which will connect to a piston. And that piston will have an observer on it. And right here, there'll be another observer with a block there. So you can see now that if an item goes in, let's just go and chuck in some of this. You'll see, look at that. Getting dispensed out. And now to build the same thing on the other side. Comparator, repeater, redstone, piston, and observer. One final observer right here. I also need all of these hoppers to go in like this. I'm just going to make sure, you know, there's plenty of hoppers going in. And next I'm going to create the exact same thing on this side. And this side is also done. And you're probably thinking, what else could I possibly have left for this farm to be finished? Well, you probably realise this, but spiders are a pain, you know. Look at it, I've got all this just to deal with them. But some of the more persistent ones will manage to fall all the way down here and land on these end rods, so I better build something that's going to get rid of them. It is a pretty simple thing. It's just going to involve some gates again with lava on the outside. Pretty straightforward, but somehow occasionally a few spiders will sneak through that as well. So to deal with that, I'm going to do the exact same thing here, and that is also now complete. But what about the few that somehow managed to get through this one as well? Well, you know what, I don't care about them. I can't really be bothered to build another one right here. In fact, I've had an idea. Any that miraculously survive that far down will land on magma. I think it actually makes sense to make this quartz magma as well in case any mobs land on that. This farm is getting more and more efficient all the time. But yeah, it's done. It's now finished, okay? Mobs are gonna come down here and then yeah, they're gonna get kind of stuck like this if they end up in here. And all the item sorts are done. There's just one final. I promise you guys, this is the final thing. Thank goodness. We need shulker boxes. We need lots and lots of shulker boxes. All of these ones are going to be dyed light grey. And I've already filled up all of these ones along here, as you can see. But I still need to fill up the ones that do the gunpowder, and then the ones that do the string, and a bunch of miscellaneous drops after that. And I'd love to add every single shulker box right now, but alas, I am almost completely out of wood. And that was after restocking back at my house. And that, unfortunately, is all of my wood used up, which gives me only one choice. I'm going to have to head all the way to spawn and spend a bit of time at my tree farm. And from all of that, I think I've probably now got enough wood. So I'll craft a load of chests and continue adding shulker boxes. I've almost filled up all of these, but I've now run out of black dye. I've been using wither roses to get it, so it looks like it's time to make a trip to the end. From there, I'm going to head through this gateway and fly to the wither rose farm. Now, at the moment, there's no wither roses in here. We're going to have to head up to this little AFK platform, let the enderman spawn, and the wither will do the rest. I think enough time has passed, and I've got loads more wither roses right there. And now it's time to get back to work. And that's all of these ones done as well. Now it's time for the final row. And finally, that is every single coloured shulker box done. I'm going to put a bunch of generic ones in these end ones in case they do get used. And that is mission accomplished. And now the question is it ready to now finally test? Well, of course, there is one tiny little thing I need to do. And that is to go to my storage room, grab a bunch of stone, make some buttons, and then when I press them on these barrels, it just for the first time, it will dispense the shulker box. It's just to get the farm going. I'll never have to press these ever again, but just for the first time, I'm going to do it. It really adds some colour to the area, doesn't it, now that all the shulker boxes are in? None of this stuff needs to be here anymore. I did also make one tiny mistake with the farm. As you can see, there's a tiny bit of netherrack here, which needs to be broken, but if I go and break it right now, it'll mess up the skylight suppression. So yes, you guessed it. We're first going to have to do a bit of light suppression before I can break that block. The suppressor does now appear to be working because chunks will not load. Let's break this piece of netherrack, then I'm going to quit the world, and when I load it back in, I can turn off the light suppressor, and the skylight suppression on the farm will have still been successful. So let's turn on the redstone mechanisms, turn off the mob switch, that way hostile mobs will be able to spawn. And in fact, just before I do test this farm, I'm worried about this. I don't think this system is reliable enough because when I unload the chunks, these tend to stop working for some reason, and that could cause me problems with the farm when I'm not here and I wouldn't know about it. You know, if I'm AFK and how am I going to know what's going on in the nether? Pretty simple solution for it though. We're just going to run this clock to go up higher. If I put a torch here, you can see that is now moving in and out with the clock. I'll also do the exact same thing on this side. And look at that, it is working perfectly. And that means I can run it up even higher. And with that, all of that redstone is done. If I push the button, it's all working perfectly. And at some point I'll add an on-off switch where it blocks the redstone, but I'm not going to do that right now. And now guys, I think it's time for a heartbreak moment. I'm just doing the final test before I booted up the old farm, and I've made a mistake. I've made a big mistake, guys. Honestly, this is pretty crucial. Watch what happens, okay? You know what? We're gonna push an item, okay? Looks like... Okay, well, that didn't work, but let's just try again, okay? So, push an item, okay? It goes along well, goes along, stops going along. Yeah, apparently it can't get pushed 32 blocks. So I've got to move all of this in by a few blocks, all of this across by a few blocks, and I've got just 5 days to do it. Time to get serious. There we go, it is now all moved. I'm hopefully never doing that ever again. And I've also worked out a way to make this system even more reliable by adding an extra repeater. It increases the delay and it kind of syncs it with the other pistons. Otherwise, some items will land on top of the slime block whilst it's extended, and then they won't go all the way to the edge, and then they won't get sorted. If I'd have moved all this even closer, that wouldn't have been an issue, but I thought for a moment that I'd completely messed up, but no, I can just do this and it solves it. Let's also add a 2 repeater delay on this first little piston as well. And with that, I don't think there's anything more I can do. There is loads of random shulker boxes and barrels and stuff. I will finish that another time. I am sick of working on this project, to be honest. Let's go ahead and test everything out. Now, whilst I'm using this farm, I'm going to kind of be flicking between replay mode and showing you how it works, just so, you know, you can see what's going on in the dimension and I can explain everything properly. First things first, you can see the mobs are spawning in. Bats will also be spawning, so I'm going to turn this portal on so the bats can come back through. So about 1,100 bats are going to spawn here, and most of them will end up in the lava, but after about 45 seconds, some of them will find their way back through the portal. So that's what I'm waiting for right now. And there we go, our first one has come through. And now there's another one, and before you know it, look at that, we're getting loads of them through. We can see on the FD screen how many we've got. We've still not got enough to reach the bat cap, but now I can tell that I have got 27, 28. I'm going to let it get to 30. I can turn off the portal. Now we have a working bat switch, and over time all the bats on this side will just die in the lava. After just 2 minutes there are only about 25 bats on this side. That's not going to cause any lag, no new ones can now spawn. And as you can see, when spiders spawn, they're going to climb upwards, the lava will take them out, and the dispensers will send out the string. The mobs will take fall damage on the moving platforms, but the items can fall through. And then the pistons will push all the items into the middle, where they go along the ice pathway and can be sorted into hoppers. When the items go over a hopper they can enter, they will go in, and this carries on all the way around until when it gets to the end and there is no items remaining. So yeah, the EOL farm is now fully complete. It collects all the items. I don't know many people who have made a full collection system for one. This particular one gets me 230,000 items per hour. It would get me more if I had broken more bedrock, but I just didn't have time in the last video to break loads of bedrock. And I'm going to AFK here now and see just how many shulker boxes it can fill up. I mean, this is just such an insane farm. I will never need gunpowder again, never need string, bones, You name it, this farm, you know, slime even, it's probably my fastest slime farm. It really is unbelievable. Well, we've now reached day 3,100. Everything seems to be working fine. Let's see how the farm has performed. I did also forget to turn these pistons on for a bit, so that did ruin the race. I had to come and turn it on. So I've got quite as much as I could have done, but let's see. Did everything get picked up? Okay, it looks like it's not, we're getting too many items for the farm, because you can see a lot of items have come through. I can just send them back through the system like that, though. I see the problem with my system. Look at this, completely packed up, because for some reason, when that goes along, it is powering the torches, which is powering the pistons, and they're not retracting. It's definitely fixable. I won't have to move the shulker loader. I'll just have to move things around here a little bit. But in the ones that actually do work, as you can see, we have got full shulker boxes. So that's a slight teething problem. Nothing I can't fix. I should have just built it a little bit lower, but yeah, nothing that I can't repair. Seems to be a problem for all of them, but as you can see, we are getting full shulker boxes. So once I fix that, this is just going to be brilliant. It's going to get me stuff so fast. And what about the gunpowder? Look at this. I'm just going to end up with loads of gunpowder, which is perfect for all my firework rockets. I need to make all these ice pathways to be 1 block higher, and that includes moving the auto storage 1 block higher, and then that'll need extra hoppers, which is why I needed loads of wood. Fixing this should not take me too long at all, so let's get to work. And that is now completely done. All of the ice is now 1 block higher. Oh my goodness, where does a gas come from? I just can't catch a break with this machine. That's that dealt with. There we go. Can very quickly fix the redstone. And I also just need to hook up this piston to the redstone. Quite a easy task. So now when an item falls, all of the pistons will extend. So all that's left to be done is test it out. Also, apparently my skylight suppression broke in this middle chunk here. I think I didn't put any string in it. I'm going to have to fix that. All it requires is for me to grab loads and loads of blocks, turn on the light suppressor, and then build a roof. I've now covered up the 3 chunks where the light suppression had broken. I just have to build out 15 more blocks on all sides so that it skylight suppresses again, which means filling in loads and loads more blocks. Finally, everything has been placed down, so I'm going to reload the world. Now let's get this suppressor off. Seems like only covering some of it has not worked because the light level here is now messed up. So I'm just going to skylight suppress the entire thing. And the full roof is now finished. I hope I never have to do this ever again. Now to light suppress again, and then remove this roof. And for what will be the last time, it is mission accomplished. Next, I'm going to turn off the mob switch and properly test out the EOL farm because it should be 100% finished. Plenty of time has passed. Let's go and see how much loot we've got. As you can see, it has been getting me a lot of different items. All these chests are just full of shulker boxes. But the items I care about the most are going to be the bones and also the gunpowder. I'll be able to make a lot of TNT with all of that.